Hi everyone, it's Matt from the Awesome Duo, and today I bring you indie title Let's Revolution, which is probably the most addictive puzzle game that I have played in quite some time. It really has a ton of content. At the time of this review, I've already played it for just under 6 hours. I've almost unlocked everything in the library. There's still about half of the achievements I have not received, but there are quite a lot of achievements for you to receive. You also have a library which basically tells you all the things that you're going to unlock. As you can see, I have unlocked quite a few items. There's still a couple of things left. And as you progress, you will find these little diamond shape kind of gems or jewels or whatever, and you will use those to unlock new characters and other things. So there are a total of 6 characters. Realistically, you start with the trooper, you move on to the shadow, you get the oracle, the charger, the hunter, and the witch. I don't remember exactly what the order was. For me, my favorite character is the trooper. I just really like the way they attack. The charger is very similar to the trooper, but they attack a little bit different. The Shadow, I think, is kind of... The Shadow and Hunter are both characters that are a little bit more difficult to play, I believe. But they're still really good characters. And then, of course, you have the Oracle and the Witch. Kind of similar playstyles. I personally prefer the Witch over the Oracle. But yeah. They're good characters. All of them. I'm going to start by going over kind of what it's like to play with the Trooper. I play on easy because I don't really want a whole bunch of challenge. If you jump up to normal, you'll see a little bit more challenge, but not a crazy amount. Either mode is really doable, and it's not hard. So every character has the same kind of premise when they start. You find yourself in this kind of area where you can jump around, and you're going to hit these tiles, and you're going to get a 1 and a 4. So what this means is one of the tiles that is near this piece is a road. This means 4, and so it's probably all 4 of these are road pieces. Or this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are all going to be roads. So I can use my attack to do that. So every unit does have their own specified attack. And you'll find all these power-ups that you can get as well. And it's up to you on what you want to do. You can completely skip those if you want, but once you kill everything, or you don't even have to kill everything, you are looking for the king, who will then run over to another area. And you're presented with this map. And that just tells you like how many more stages you have before you get over to where you're going. And, you know, you can use a lot of the power-ups that you find to really kind of make a determination on what you're going to do to kind of prevent yourself from taking damage. If you can find all the enemies before they find you. It's always a good idea to hit these guys. You know, I really like the upgrades. They're all kind of pretty beneficial. And as you play, the levels do get larger, which is pretty cool. It's all very relaxing, chill as well, I think, which is probably why I enjoy it so much. But it's one of those games you play and you're like, oh, you know what, I've got one more that I will do. And then an hour goes by and you find yourself still playing. And then another hour, and another hour, and then you've been playing this all day, and it's still not getting old. It's very satisfying to play. Like I said, probably one of the best strategy or puzzle games that I have played in the last, I don't know, a couple of years probably. It's been that good. In addition to the upgrades, you also have your stores that you can use to buy a couple of extra things, which are also upgrades. Like you can always buy health, you can buy extra energy, and additional weapons, which are very cool to have because it's going to help you. as you play, or you could just completely choose not to get them, and that's entirely up to you. There's no wrong way to do this. The only wrong way to play this is to let the king get away and not kill them. And finally, at the end of the stage, you will be faced with the boss. And I really like this boss battle. It's pretty simple in context. You have your king, and of course you'll have any other enemies that kind of happen to be around. And depending on what you have for your attacks, this can be a really short battle, or it could be a little bit more on the dangerous side. I don't really have a lot of the cool stuff, unfortunately, so I'm going to take some damage, but it's nothing too big of a deal. So, as the bar here turns red, that basically means that the enemy is going to be able to attack you, and in this case it's the king. The king doesn't do a lot of damage. Some enemies will do more damage than others, but it really varies on what you have. So the amount of damage you do is going to entirely depend on your attack choice, and you'll see it up here in the top right on how much damage it'll do. So I only have attacks that are going to do 1 damage at the moment. In these stages, one of the other benefits you have is that you're going to run into, basically, whenever you find an end piece, like this guy right here is probably an end piece, it will have some kind of bonus weapon that I will be able to use. And in this case, it's a Bubblezuka, which should be enough. Oh, nope, almost. Does 2 damage, so now I got 1 more damage, and then he'll die, and I'll get a cool little ending scene. Plus, I will earn additional coins, not coins, but diamonds, jewels, whatever these are, which go towards unlocking different items that you will find throughout your playthroughs, or new characters. And there's our little ending scene. Defeated the king again. Alright, so the charger, very similar to the trooper, but one of the big things with this is you're trying to kind of combine your attacks. And it takes a little bit more to get used to, I think, than the trooper. It's still an okay character. I mean, like, there are no bad characters in this game. They're all relatively good. But as you'll notice, as I unlock tiles that I have not been to before, I will unlock more of a charge. And then you lose the charge if you hit a tile that doesn't have anything in it, or that you've already kind of explored. So our upgrades are Bayback, Bash. I usually upgrade my attacks. I feel like that's a better aspect of it. I'm just going to do a couple of stages with the charger to kind of give a good overview of kind of how it works. I also have the Intimidate, which is kind of specific to this character. You can get it for others as well. But it basically allows you to reset the clock on any enemies that may be around. And each character has their own, like, kind of specific, kind of like extra kind of goal or something. I'm trying to find the word that I'm looking for, but basically at the end of each stage, depending on the character class, how you finish the level will matter, because depending on the kind of character you are, you could find yourself getting additional points or gold for accomplishing it a certain way, such as leaving no one left alive, which is your all clear, or, you know, leaving things hidden. And that just Again, depends on the character you're playing. One thing to point out is you don't have to worry about anything in the corners. Corners are always going to be empty. You're never going to have to worry about running into any enemies in an actual corner. And this is really the Charger in a nutshell. Like, they're very unique in their playstyle because it's all about keeping momentum. And jumping into those new areas without taking damage. Alright, so I know I said... I know I said that there's no enemies in the corners, and you're probably like, well, that's a corner, and there was definitely an enemy, and you took damage. You're not wrong, but it's not really that kind of corner. It means like the corner here, on the very edges. So it's not the corners of your little gaps, just to clarify. But yeah, that is the Charger in a nutshell, and we'll move on over into the next character. And next up is the Shadow, which the big thing about this one is you try to hide more than actually fight enemies. I think the Shadow is probably one of the more difficult characters to play, but it really depends on your playstyle. I personally really like to just do a lot of the attacking, so that kind of makes it kind of how it is. So we got one enemy here, which I don't need to worry about with the Shadow. With the Shadow, it actually is more beneficial to not unlock every tile. And so basically, at the end of every level with the Shadow, you're going to get an extra coin for however many tiles are still shrouded, or, you know, basically not showing what they are. If it has a check mark, it means there's no enemy, so there's nothing to worry about. Again, it would be beneficial not to click on every single one of these, but because of the possibility of having treasures or power-ups, I click on them anyway because I want to get things. But because I want a little extra cash, I'm going to go ahead and hide those 3 tiles. And that'll give me a little bit extra cash. Not much, but I'll use it. So there's no secret to finding the enemies. It's just a matter of knowing they will always be on a road, and then really just kind of taking a guess on where you think they're going to be. I just lucked out, and did a pretty decent job. I don't have enough cash for anything right now, for anything beneficial, but this is kind of basically what there is of the Shadow. The Hunter is very similar to the Shadow. The big thing is you want to hide enemies to kind of create more of your ability to attack, your mana, if you will. It does call it mana, so I mean, it kind of works. It's still, it's a good character, but again, as always, I prefer the Trooper. Now, not killing enemies means you're not going to get as much gold, but it's kind of okay. It works. So I have the ability to jump, but the jumping isn't really something that you want to use very often. Or you might, but it's not exactly a really useful choice, because it'll get you somewhere, but without the dodge capability, you're gonna end up taking damage, and that is not what you want. But you get a lot of cool skills, I would say, that are really tailored towards every character, and the hunter is no different than any other character. You get a skill that you will use, and you also have one thing over the shadow, and you don't require enemies to be hidden in order to attack them. I do think the Hunter and Shadow, I think, are probably the hardest characters to play, simply because you have to spend so much time having them hidden in order to actually kill things or get money, and that just kind of makes it a little bit on the hard side. But you can chain your attacks, which is super useful. And if I know that there's an enemy, and I would like to... So basically, I know there's people in those tiers, so I'm not going to really worry about it. Because at this point... I messed up. I'll say at this point what I'm trying to do is just find the king and get out of here. Which... I don't understand why I haven't found him. Oh, he's gonna be right here. That makes sense. So yeah, the king is always going to be on one of those empty tiles, and you know, it's something I should have caught, but I didn't. But yeah, so this is basically the hunter in a nutshell. Next up is the oracle, which is kind of like more of a, I guess, like a half wizard, I would say, kind of, sort of. I mean, it's basically you're trying to basically avoid combat. So again, not my playstyle, but it's still a good character. It's fun. It's an enjoyable way to play. You got these cool little things you can do. You have this kind of premonition, which will tell you how many enemies are in each tile. Not necessarily in each tile, but it'll give you an idea of where the enemies are. Now the problem is, you stun. That's it. You're not really doing any real damage to enemies, which makes it a little bit more difficult. So you're gonna want to try to find an upgrade as soon as possible, so you can start avoiding combat, or actually do combat. Whatever one is gonna help you out a little bit better. And again, with this one, I am trying to avoid combat, just looking for the king. I'll just go on characters, or go on tiles that I know are decent and not a threat, and then I'll just kind of move on. And this is the Oracle. Like, there's not a whole lot to show about the Oracle, I think, because it's one of those, once you've seen it, you kind of have a good idea on what the combat is going to be, or the playstyle. The Scroll of Lightning will be useful, but I won't be able to use it until like much later, because I don't want to waste it. And there is the quick blurb of what it's like to play as the Oracle. I think it does a decent job of kind of showing you what kind of character it is and what to expect. Trying to find the king, who's got to be up here. Yeah, I still got attacked, but you know, it's fine. But yeah, there you go. That is the Oracle. And the final character is the Witch. The Witch is very similar to the Oracle, but they're better in every way because they get to actually use magic, and you can attack with some really cool fire spell thing that I quite enjoy. So I really enjoy this character. It's probably one of the better ones. It's probably my second favorite in comparison to the Trooper. Don't need a ring of protection. I'll do it with interest, so basically the more gold I have at the end of every map, the more gold I will earn. Kind of like in real life, except for, it's not the same at all. But it still works, you know, it's fine.
Here you go.
What are we going to upgrade, Jimma? I'm going to increase my magic, or like make it cost 4 less, which is probably the better idea. Now, one thing that is particular with the Witch is I require the dark energy in order to basically refill my energy. So it does pay, you know, to kind of pick your fights wisely, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Because if you don't, and you're just going to use everything, you might find yourself in a situation where you just don't have enough magic to really attack. And, you know, now this guy has proven me completely wrong on whether or not there are enemies in the corners, which I said earlier in the video, and it appears that I am apparently wrong. There can be enemies in the corners. So I feel bad for telling people that they're not. But I'm not going to go back and fix it because that's like a lot of work, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to let you know that I made a mistake. But it's cool though. And this is basically the Witch, which is fun to play. Just kind of how it is. So finishing out my gameplay of Let's Revolution for the review, I have to say this is probably one of the best puzzle games I have ever played. It is so much fun. It is probably just the most addictive thing that I have in my library right now. It seems like every time I feel like I might be done playing it, I'm back for another round. It's just a whole level of just really enjoyable moments. There's so many things to do. You get all these different upgrades. Chasing down the king and then having the final battle with him is just really satisfying. Like everything about this game is just fantastic. It's just about near perfect. So if you like games that have wonderfully drawn backgrounds and artwork and cool animations for characters, and you like good music, you like, you know, puzzles that aren't going to leave your brain feeling like it's on fire, this is definitely a game you should pick up, because it is a blast. And speaking of blasts, oh, alright, never mind. I was going to say that we're going to kill him with one more hit, but no, I was wrong. But yeah, you know, Let's Revolution is a definite
Just a boofer?
recommendation by me. If you like puzzle games, definitely pick this up. I hope you enjoyed the show, and be sure to wishlist this and pick it up whenever you feel like tossing some money towards the developers. And I think I'm now at 100% full kit. Cool way to end the video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.